Hello and welcome to episode 5 of the Boundless World Builder bite-sized series. In this episode, we're going to look at adding your prefabs to decoration nodes so that you can see what you've been building in the world. We're also going to examine a little bit the relationship between some of the different parameters in the decoration nodes and within your prefab instance nodes. To get started, I'm going to load up a custom instance or custom prefab that I've built called the Radius test. We'll go ahead and click on it, drag it in here, and it is now its own instance. Now, adding your prefabs or your instances to worlds is really just as simple as putting it on a decoration node. The decoration node is attached over to your biome part, I believe, which is then attached to the biome. So that's how things kind of connect down to this lowest level of the individual instance. I'm going to include a link in the YouTube channel, but I asked Luca, or asked really general anyone, about this relationship between the gatherRadius described here in the actual instance prefab itself and the min size max size within the decoration node. And essentially what this allows you to do, the gatherRadius, the smaller it is, the tighter the squeeze is when it's trying to measure the size. So a gatherRadius of 1, or the maximum value, just means that anything that you've built will be measured the same. If you remember looking into our, actually I'll just hit join client and we'll look at this, I think. If you look down, there's like these glass like squares. Basically, if you have this set to 1, anything within that glass square is going to be measured the same as anything in the squares next to it. So you could have a prefab that literally has every block filled in from the mantle up to sky, and it's going to measure the same as what I have built here, which is just a little, 2 by 2 by 5? Yeah, so that's what a gatherRadius of 1 will do. So the smaller you have that, the tighter things are going to be measured. So we'll go ahead and jump out of this now. What that means then, and Luca's got a post on this with the formula if you want it. If we go back to our crop circles here that I've loaded in, this min size max size, it's looking for the size, which again Luca's formula will tell you, and determining how big of something can spawn in. So my largest thing inside this radius test is a 3 by 3 by 6, I want to say, yeah, with some ancient corruption on top. This ancient corruption block shows up red within the blue chunk visualization. So if I go in to that visualization with our max size set almost to 1, it's still going to show up. Spoiler alert. I'm going to wipe this out and bring it back in. I just chose crop circles for something easy so I can see everything spawning here. And yeah, we've got that red kind of tree still spawning here that I built. However, you can see the smallest size and the second middle size are both spawning in as well. So this is just because even though I didn't include the absolute of 1, it's still just a little too high on this max size. So if I drag it down a little bit and we do this again, the red trees should no longer spawn in once all of this kind of overwrites itself. Okay, so they did this time. So kind of like Luca said, you just kind of want to play with the sliders a little bit. So I think maybe if I get it closer to 5, it won't look as much. We'll go just slightly under 5 and hope that we still get the middle one, but no red ones. And at first glance, that seems to have done it. Yep, I don't see any of the red ones around, but I still see my smaller trees and my medium-sized trees. So a use case for this that I could see would be if you've built, several variants of trees and you only want the bigger ones to show up kind of closer to ground level, but you want smaller ones on mountains, for example, or above certain altitude levels, you could do that. My personal preference would be to just build those as separate prefabs and just add them in individually to the decoration nodes, because you can control the min y, max y, the gradient, all of that within these, and you just keep hitting plus decoration and you can keep getting these little instance nodes to attach to. So I personally would probably just add more prefabs and build them separately if I wanted something like that. but at least the use case here exists with min size, max size, and the gather radius. So I hope that was semi-useful for anyone who was curious about those parameters. I've also gone through past forum posts and I've looked up some of the definitions for some of these other variables here that you can look at within the guide posts that I've created. And I'll try to add more as I go through future videos. Thank you for watching and have a great day.